Where are you? You don't have to give me actual location, but where are you doing your active? What I care about is where are you meeting Palestinians in the army?
North West Bank.
Okay, the northern West Bank.
Yes.
And how much time did you spend there?
I'm on Kav there for 6 months, but I've only done 4 of it.
Okay, still.
Yeah.
And were you in another person? Were you in the West Bank as well?
Yes.
Okay, for how long and what kind of
Not
stuff
for
did
very
you?
long. Just basically getting the shabachim.
Speak English. What is a shabachi?
The
Shin Bet.
Oh, the intelligence.
Yes.
no,
Shalachim is
that,
Shin Bet.
no, that's no. The people coming over from the West Bank that are illegal, jumping over the border, either stealing stuff or bringing stuff over, or yeah,
Or just going to, for example, Palestinian Gay Night, which is just around the corner,
they can
and
do
they're all
that as
all
well.
there as well. Yes, 'cause
but they're
meeting
not
somebody after.
technically allowed to.
Yes.
So that's the
So you would catch people and bring them back.
catch people and then give them to other people to bring them back.
Okay. Okay. So let's now. What kind of work do you do?
I guard the fence.
Okay. Do you come into contact with Palestinians? Like, do you ever have talk to them or?
Talk to them. Depends on what context.
In any way.
'Cause sometimes we do arrests and we talk to them, but it's not really talking to them. It's
Okay. So why would you do an arrest? Give me an example.
because we have intelligence that the person did a crime or they need to come in to be interrogated, I guess.
Okay. And how often does something like that happen, from your experience?
From my experience, a couple times a week.
So somebody will go to the fence
It's
and
not
try
really
to get
arrested to go to jail. It's just arrested to bring them in to talk to them or possibly to send them.
through. So what are they doing? Like, what do they get arrested for? They
Throwing Molotov cocktails. They could be associating with the wrong people. They could be trying to convert them to our side to talk, to try to give us information about other people. Like, what's it called?
stuffing, like
An
informants.
Yes.
So, but you said you're guarding the fence.
Yes.
So
That's
why
my
would
main goal, is to guard the fence.
Okay, but then how do you come talk to these? Like, how do they show up?
we go
Explain
to
the
them.
situation. Oh, so
We go into the West Bank.
you're on the Israeli side of the fence,
Yes.
and then you hear of something that's happening. Someone throws a Molotov cocktail, for example, at you.
Not at us.
Oh, at who? At where?
Just could be the people who are guarding inside the West Bank, or there was a riot and they just started throwing them. Could be at the police. There's many different circumstances.
So your job is to actually just go get them.
just get them.
Okay. And what happens to them once you get them?
We hand them over to whoever wanted them. Could be the police, could be the Shin Bet, whoever wants them, and then that's that. They're out of our hands.
And do you know what happens to them? Like, are some of them actually arrested or?
I don't know. I don't look into it.
Okay. Okay. So, wait, and back to, so you were, sorry, remind me again, what did you say you did?
I was a sniper
Oh.
in the Israeli army.
Okay. And you were, who did you snipe at, or did you?
We had mission stuff all over the border, of the north, the south, wherever we jumped around a lot.
Yeah. Did you ever get in a situation where you actually had to shoot?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to tell me about that?
It really wasn't. It was just in Gaza. We were only allowed. There's a lot of specific rules in Gaza, or on the border of Gaza, where you're not allowed to. There's specific rules when you're allowed to shoot to kill, or when you're allowed just to shoot from the knee down, which only means the ankle, technically. So if they come too close to the fence, then you can shoot them in the ankle, because what they were doing is they were digging lots of holes, gathering metal that's in the ground along the fence, and in hindsight, it might have been to help build the tunnels that were created, but who really knows? I mean, there was lots of activity going on there all the time, and We were just there for a little while.
And this is an area which I assume is like a no man's land, like they're not supposed to be there.
They're not. They know that they're not allowed to be there. They know the exact distance from the fence that they're not allowed to be, and they purposely. It's like a cat and mouse game. They come to the fence, then they see the army come close to the fence because we see them with whatever, and then they run away exactly to the line where we're not allowed to shoot them, and they dance and wave and shout at us. And
Okay, because my next question was, how do you know that they know that that's the line?
Yeah. They stand. The line at the time was 100 meters away from the fence. They would stand 105 meters away, 110 meters away, so that they know that they were safe. And they would wave, they would point, everybody. You'd see 20, 30 people just standing there. As soon as we'd leave, they'd run back and start digging again.
Okay. And so you ever had to shoot at them?
Once.
Okay. Why specifically that one time?
I mean, it's, like I said, it's a cat and mouse game. The rules are very... There's a lot of hoops that you have to jump through in order to actually get to that point where you do shoot at somebody. You need to request permission, and until that permission's granted, you already need to be on the person. So there's a huge time frame that you need to be waiting in order to actually shoot.
What is a huge time frame?
Well, yeah, it's really, I guess, only a minute or so. But
Okay.
But if you're a sniper, that's a huge window of time. I mean,
Okay.
You only have a couple seconds to take a shot, and then all of a sudden they're out of reach, or you don't see the leg anymore because, like I said, we're only allowed to shoot at the ankle. So that's a very, very small target, and you don't want to miss. So you need to wait till they're stopping, and they're not stupid. They know that people are watching them. They know that there are soldiers along the border. They know that they're in the part where they shouldn't be. So they're as cautious as possible.
Okay. Now, this is to both of you, and soon we'll get to you as well. How have your views changed before going into the Army, or what did you learn when you were there that changed your views? Let's start with you, Sniper.
I mean, I don't
They?
really know. I guess they haven't changed all that much, to be honest. I'd like to think that I'm pretty in the middle. Like, I don't have a problem with Arabs, I don't have a problem with Palestinians, but on the other hand, there's lots of terrorist organizations in and around these parts where the peaceful ones might be living, and they also have a huge influence on these possibly peaceful civilians, so it can create a very gray area that that is hard to determine, I guess, what you feel is right and wrong, but then at that point you just say, are they doing something right or are they doing something wrong? If they're doing something wrong, then they're no longer as peaceful and as civil as they as somebody that isn't doing
Okay.
that. So
Okay.
they're giving you a reason to act
Okay.
in the correct response.
Okay. Now,
I mean,
back
that's
to
a
you.
natural that's a natural Army thing. What he just said is, I also feel the same way. It's sad that we have to do these things. I would rather not do them, but we have to. There's a certain point where you draw the line, and that line is very blurry. So sometimes we have to do it, even though we don't want to. But
Have your views changed? Like, did you go into it more idealistic
changed.
or less, or
Have my views changed? They have changed. I've gotten a little more right wing, but that's just because of the things that I've seen.
for example?
For example, I was in Gaza this past summer, and it's just that they use their citizens like pawns, and I don't enjoy that at all. But
Well, what did you see? Explain what you saw.
terrorists dressing as civilians or in IDF uniforms. I might not have seen that personally, but I've heard stories, and so it's not fair. But we can't give them the benefit of the doubt because all the things that have happened ever since Israel has been here.
But did you see anything personally?
Yes, I have.
So what? Explain what you saw.
I have seen, we've been shot at a couple of times, we've been rocketed, I've seen my friends get hurt. I've seen somebody die, and it's not good. I
Okay.
mean,
Did you see any Palestinians using other Palestinians as shields, like human
I
shields?
did not personally see
Okay.
it.
Did you see? Oh, you didn't see anything like you said IDF uniforms. So
Yes.
sometimes they have IDF uniforms.
In the unit, in another unit of mine. So a bunch of terrorists came out from the tunnel, and they launched an attack. And so they were dead on both sides, the IDF and the terrorists. And so I know people that went to the scene to pick up the bodies, and an officer came over. He said, "Don't. Why are you picking up that body?" And the guy's like, "He's a dead soldier." And he's like, "That's a terrorist. You're picking up a terrorist." And the guy didn't even know because they look the exact same. They have the same shoes, the same belts, same everything.
Okay.
So it's difficult.
Okay. And so you didn't see, or either of you, see anything that, they talk about Palestinians, human shields, or doing any of these sort of things to
I didn't see
create
that
the army.
personally.
Okay. You never saw that either. Okay. Okay. Now, over to you. What did you do in the army?
International affairs.
Okay.
For
Did
the
you ever?
Navy.
Okay. Did you ever come in contact with Palestinians?
No.
Okay. Did your experience in the army change your views in any way?
No. It
So-
made me change my views about the army, but
Okay.
otherwise, no.
So what were your views about the army before, and how did they change after?
I thought the army was very organized, and that everything was kind of set for a reason, but it was, I would never want a company to be run the way the IDF was run,
Okay.
or the Navy at least.
Okay. You want to give an example?
Everything was kind of arbitrary. There weren't as many defined rules as you would have liked. The placement wasn't based on skill, but rather, connections,
Yeah.
which I guess it happens a lot, but they're not looking. I would kind of want to see more performance metrics being placed and then analyzed.
So when they talk about, some people say that the army should be changed to a professional army, sort of like American style professional army.
Yeah.
And they claim it can't be done. It's impossible.
It can't be done just quantitatively because you don't have enough soldiers. You wouldn't have enough soldiers as the U.S. Army just because there aren't enough citizens to fill that.
But in terms of how each works, or how the different
I think
sections work,
I think there would be more intelligent people in the Army, or more intelligent people in officer roles than there are now.
Okay. Okay. You guys agree?
To an extent.
Yeah, to an extent. I think that it would it greatly improves the quality. I think because there's a lot of really good soldiers that would like to stay on longer, but they can't, or there's lots of people that don't want to be there and try their hardest to get out, and it brings down the morale and the quality of the people around them, which is sad. Yeah, because I guess before I joined the army, I thought everybody wanted to join, and then I quickly saw, well, at least in Tirunut and basic training, that that's not the case. That some people just don't want to be there, and it's a shame because, like you said, I think it's impossible just because there's not the numbers in Israel to make it a professional army.
Okay.
But I think it does make it a more quality army. Not saying that the Israeli army is not quality. I think it's a very good army, and as far as everything goes, I obviously preferred it over the American army. Not that I have anything against the American army. I just like the morals and the way that the Israeli army works a lot better. And of course, from the Zionist point of view, there's that. But yeah, that would be I think a big improvement to make it a professional army.
Okay. Anything else you guys want to add, just about your experiences? Anything you want to tell the world?
It's tough. It's not easy. Because they go against your morals sometimes.
Okay. And want to give an example?
What about the
When,
house?
when the 3 boys were captured before Gaza, we were doing raids in Bethlehem, and we had to go in the house and tore everything apart. We ripped open pillows, we ripped clothes out of closets, we punched holes in the closets to see if there
Why?
was...
Why would you rip open pillows, for example?
Check if we were also checking for the boys, but also checking for weapons and ammunition and drugs and whatever was illegal. Whatever
Okay.
we could find, we could take from them,
Okay.
in regards if it was illegal or not.
Okay. So why would the army care about drugs, for
Not
example?
drugs, because it funds terrorism.
Yeah, it's a huge cash crop for them.
Yeah. That's one. I don't know the numbers. I don't know the facts, but from what I think, my personal opinion is that the only way it really gets into Israel is through means of terrorism, and it could directly fund terrorism, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay. Did you find anything, by the way, in that house raid?
We found AK-47s. We found ammunition, grenades, a bunch of stuff.
Okay,
Knives,
then.
yeah.
Do you have any idea why they had AK-47s and grenades?
Because
Particularly?
if they wanted to stage an attack, they could. Or
No, the question is because there are the slim chance that the attack could be against rival families who also do the
Also,
drug thing. Yes, that's a slim chance. More likely, I'm assuming, is against Israelis, but you don't know though. For
I don't
sure.
know.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Did the army tell you to rip open pillows? And
Yeah,
to...
that was our commanders and officers commanded us to do this.
Okay.
They showed us how before, and then they said, "Don't be afraid to just go at it."
Well, the perception from those of us who aren't in the army and from outside is that you do it to terrorize the people,
To terrorize the people.
like
I
rip
don't-
open
I wo-
cushions,
I
be
don't
more
think-
violent than.
I don't think the
need to
IDF
be.
would do that just to terrorize the citizens. They could find better ways, I'm sure, than to. But unfortunately, we do it to some houses that we don't find things, and we just mess up their house and we ruin their lives for a little bit. And it's unfortunate. I agree. But when we do find the weapons, it's one step closer to our goal of keeping citizens safe and out of harm's way.
Kind of a leave no stone unturned sort of deal. I mean, if you're there, if you suspect something, check everything. I mean, you might find information. They can hide it in anything, anywhere. So, and if you can find it, that can only help Israel protect itself. Any amount of information.
From your experiences, are you in your units? Are you mostly foreigners? Usually foreigners are together. Are you with Israelis, native Israelis?
There was only one other foreign.
Same.
Okay.
in my unit.
Okay.
In my team.
So, from your perceptions, totally perception, and not fact, but did you feel that people were funneling their anger towards Palestinians when they would do things like this?
No, I really enjoyed the people I was with in my unit. They're
No,
all-
when they go into a Palestinian house and destroy
I was gonna say,
things, and you.
they're all level-headed. I mean, nobody did it because they wanted to do it. They did it because it's necessary, and you do what you need to do. But it's not
Sure.
because they took pride or joy, like destroying anybody's stuff.
And after you're saying you had moral, you said it was. You felt,
It's against. I mean, I didn't want to do that. With the houses that we didn't find the weapons and stuff, I didn't want to ruin their lives like that. It's not. I would never do something like that.
But
And
it's only in hindsight that you find that out.
of course. If I didn't find anything, I felt bad. If I found something, then it was.
that it justifies
yes,
what you did.
Justifies
Okay.
the means.
You mentioned one time that one of your friends didn't really want to go through with the mission or felt uncomfortable with it during the
They
raid.
could stay outside.
Okay. What happened?
They have that voice because there do need to be people outside who guard us from if somebody's coming or if somebody gets injured inside, we need to take them outside. I'm a medic, so I usually stay outside.
Okay. So he just felt that it was just too immoral for him to do something like
It
that.
was too vicious, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it had something to do with a woman who was wanted to go into the kitchen.
Oh yeah, there was a girl who. This is a different story. A girl wanted to leave. We gathered everybody in the house or outside. We gathered everybody in the house. She was trying to leave to go somewhere, and we're all pointing our guns at them so that they don't move. But they don't take us seriously sometimes, and starts to move. She starts to come closer, and he's like agitated. But you just have to put on that front. I mean, we're a bunch of 18, 19-year-old kids. We don't really know, like, some people do have that front, and they are mean people. I've met a couple in the Army, but for the most part in my unit, we're all really good guys, really nice guys, so it's tough sometimes.
Okay.
And you also said there's one time where you felt afraid when you were doing the house raid? That people were...
Oh, yeah, well, the first one that we did, we entered the house, and then they started whistling. And I guess the people in the village heard the whistles. They started whistling, and people started gathering out front,
Yeah, that's right.
out of the house. So
Yeah, they do this code, so
Yeah.
they tell people
And
the IDF is around. So.
yeah, and so they started coming closer. Everyone starts freaking out because like 30, 40 people are enclosing the house that we're at, and we don't know if they have weapons. We don't know what they're gonna do, or if they're not gonna do anything. So that was pretty scary.
I just want to say, I don't know, for the people that are listening and stuff, and about the story that he just had with the young woman that wanted to leave. I mean, it's a reasonable action to hold these people in one spot to be able to control them. I mean, the police do the exact same thing when they pull you over and they're searching your car, or like if you're they might take you out of the car, put you in a spot and tell you not to move. And if you start moving, so then they also get agitated. I mean, they don't know what kind of intent you have towards them. And I mean, we see all the time people getting injured and stuff in and around Tel Aviv, and these are supposed to be safe areas because people conceal weapons. And so when you're putting yourself in a more dangerous environment, that risk level only goes up, and so your senses need to be that much more heightened, and you need to take that much more
On edge.
control of the situation, and to make sure everybody is as safe as possible, them and you.
But you don't think that I mean, I don't know what the other options are, but you don't think it also makes it worse? I mean, you go into a house, you destroy things, whether in some of the cases they had nothing you found anyways in their house. You don't think it creates more hate?
Of course, but how can we trust that family if we don't know them? We don't really know what they have, what they don't have. We know stone unturned applies to this. There's no trust.
I mean,
That's pretty much it.
It might not be the best solution around, but it is.
Gets results.
It's a solution that gets results, and if we don't do it ever, so then like the house that he found the AK-47s and the grenades, so that's open season. Like anybody can do anything they want, and they're not worried about anything being broken into and anybody looking at them weird. So it's a justifiable necessity. I feel that in order to protect Israel and the citizens inside Israel, you get the good with the bad. Sometimes you fall on a family that's done nothing, and it might cause worse relations with that family. They might then be turned or more inclined to go do something against Israel because you just destroyed their house. But on the off chance that it's not, then it's justifiable. I feel.
Okay. Any other stories anyone wants to throw in here?